votes of likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work will work, work never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work will work, work never stop. Now occasionally he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the...
All right, my friends, we're back at the grad show. And today, I think it's going to be a kind of shorter show. It says 18 people we got. But we have some famous people. Among them, Dr. Pop Pop and McBalls. McBalls is back. So it should be a fun show. We're going to start with Scott. Scott's, by the way, I have this new thing that I was working towards. We're going to have it fixed hopefully soon. This game's annotated. I wanted it to be showing me really how many games were annotated, but the way the dev person did it, it doesn't. So Scott actually has games annotated, but it says 0 for reasons I don't know if I even understand. But we're going to have it fixed so it'll actually show how many recent games have been annotated. That way I don't, go have to click around in people's profiles. Oh, where's my camera? Pause. Where's my camera? Oh, I've lost the camera. No, I get it back. We are get it back, my friend. We will get it back. Go grad show. We'll get rid of this one. Doot. Doot. And then we'll go over here. And we'll go doot. And we'll scooch it and rooch it. Maybe make it a little smaller. Shaboomba. 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 And now, the ultimate Shaboomba. Oh, come now, you can do it. Good. Where am I here? Oh, crap. Why is it sometimes so hard for me, man? Why didn't you work, my friend? That's better. Better, not great, but better. Okay. Good. So we're going to start off with the famous Scott, as I was saying. And Scott. I had dropped out because I hadn't been playing in a while and was using my USCF rating as a guide rather than my lead chess. Since my goal is to get better OTB and I'm going to be playing more regular OTB, I'm going to continue to base my cohort on the USCF. I've been spending a lot of time on non-playing tasks because playing gives me anxiety. Because playing, I definitely need to work on the mental game. But I'm facing my fear now, and I'm just playing more. It helps that my school and club students are playing as well. This last weekend, we all sat at a big table and reviewed our games between rounds, where I hung out with their parents. It was a lot more fun than the isolated experience I've had before. This last weekend, I went 3 out of 4 and felt pretty steady with only one major blunder that led to the loss. Okay, Scott, looking good. Let's click over here. Lawyer, writer, Pacific time zone. Great. Dojo 1.0. Oh, yeah, that's when he was talking about. He left us for a little bit. Now, if I pop his business out, you can see way back in March of last year, he had done some stuff. And then now he's back. So, he's 660 elite chess. USCF, he's lower. And I guess what you could say he's doing is he's kind of waffling between the OTV and the elite chess. So at the moment for elite chess, he could go up another cohort with 660. Okay. So, let's take a look. I know he has games. This is a new thing we can see here is that you can see how many there are now in any given folder. Is that the coolest looking? Maybe we can improve the look, but that is what I want. I want to know what we got in each of those files. So we'll give it a little click here. And this looks great. So this is, I'm going to assume a little Indian kid he's playing here. So first of all, we'll look at the time. It's always a challenge the first time to bring in your time scores. So that's something to do. Afternoon, JW. And McBalls. McBalls. It's night over there for McBalls. All right, here we go. This is Scott. He's doing fine so far. All right, here we go. As long as you're developing, I'm not complaining. And so I really want to stress the elite chess. One of the things I really despised about elite chess is it does this kind of as a default. So you have to really learn to get rid of its automatic review of these moves. It's fine. I want to really stress it's fine to use the computer after. But if you use it now, it's like you're giving yourself a funky move mark on castles when I think, you know, if H3 is better, it's for a GM, it's better. It's not, you know, even for me, honestly, I think castles is fine. So that's not a mistake. Fine. Weird. Now, the thing about G4 that we just want to stress is that, especially if you're going to castle, as you did, then G4 is a little funky. So if we imagine going back, if you're going to play H3 earlier without castling, then maybe it's a little easier to do. But now it's a little more dangerous. Okay, here we go. Nice plan. Good. And this is a funky move. So what we want to say is that A6, the problem with A6 is that it loses a tempo. And now the beast came up with bishop f4. Let's just stress bishop takes c6 is a very human move. Okay. And then that's definitely a mistake. So I wouldn't call it a blunder, by the way. A blunder to me is a move where you really like lose the game. Okay. Whereas bishop f4, you know, you got a nice position, game's going to go on. Okay. So knight d7. Now, this is a mistake for sure because you are going to develop the rook when you take here. And the rook is looking at a mighty tasty coconut over here. And then we're going to get popped. Now we're in deep trouble. Now we got to do something like that. Now we're in big trouble. Good moves by black. C5, definitely a mistake. Now, this whole thing with rook takes e6, let me stress, that's some high-level stuff, my friend. That's some high-level stuff. Because knight takes d5 is certainly like the natural thing to do. So I think one of the things I want you to see is without the computer, you would have never considered rook takes e6. So this is the thing. When you do the annotations, we want you to focus on the human thoughts here. Okay, so blunder. Thank you very much. Black resigns. Well done, Scott Walsh. Beating the higher rated opponent. Well done. Oh, no, I'll mark this as reviewed. Okay. Next up, we have Dominic Adams' chess. Dominic has been here before. He says, still going up. Now, my 4th graduation since starting chess in December. Since my last graduation, I played my first OTB FIDE in my chess club in the 3rd Provincial of Malaga, which I won very easily. My second OTB, which should also be uploaded and analyzed before the dojo account review, is on the 22nd of February, where I will be playing my first rated player. Big thank you to the dojo. We continue looking up. Great, Dominic. So, here is Dominic here. Living in sunny Spain. Nice. I think Spain is a great chess country, and you can see that Dominic is doing good work there. Every day he's at it. And he's going up. And you can tell he hit 800 briefly and graduated and then fell a little bit. I think, though, it sounds like he is looking to get himself an OTB rating as well. Okay, so let's give a look at his games here. I think we want... Now, here's a problem, my friends. He's putting his games into My OTB Games. You need to put... It's fine if you want to have a separate one called My OTB Games, but everything, all the games that you analyze, not your blitz games, but the serious games that you play, need to go in that My Games folder. All right, so here we go. I believe this is the second one he was talking about. It's his second OTB. He doesn't have his clock times. I get it. All right, now we're going to hit game review, and I'm going to have to do a little jadooby. So let's do a little jadoob. There we go. Beautiful. And so here we are. Good move. So far, so... Now, queen d4, let's just say it's a little weird. It's a little weird. Okay. Little weird. So notice that what you've really done is you've lost some time. So you obviously lost time with the queen. And now f4, it's not actually a developing move. No, again, so you're losing time like a maniac. One of the things we want to stress is that at your level, the games will be mostly decided by people hanging stuff. But also important and much easier to learn is don't give up time. And here you're giving up all kinds of time. Little funky, castles makes more sense. Little funky, not a developing move. Castles makes more sense. Not a developing move. So what you can see is that your opponent has the same problem you do. Right? Oh, cry, can you bring in the video, please? Bud, can you bring in the video? I don't know why it failed here, but it did fail. So let me just bring it in. To fail game review, I push in, I go. There it is, bro. Not bad, not bad, Uncle Sad. So where did my little thing go here? There we go. Do I understand why it's so complicated? I actually don't. So wait. Can we fix it, bud? Bang. All right, I think that's it. Okay, so let's return to the major topic. Oh, is it time to give the spiel? Maybe it's time to give the spiel. To get to 1,000, my friends, there are 3 tasks that we need to get better at. 1, most important, we need to not hang stuff. That's how these games are generally decided. 2, we need to use our time. That's why it'd be great for you to tell us how much time was used in these games. And 3, we need to not hang tempi. It's actually the easiest skill to learn. But you're going to see a lot of players who don't necessarily give you many pieces for free, but they're going to give you loads of time, just as you have also given black loads of time here. All right, this seems fair. This isn't actually a loss of time because he has to move the knight again. However, maybe we should have castled first because now white's under a lot of pressure here. Queen e2, queen b6. That looks like a fun move. Castles. And he castles long like a madman. He's definitely a madman here for castling long. Now, I think what he could have done here is to have played knight here. And if queen takes so that you hold on to your f-pawn. Oh, cry. What are you saying? Well, I'm thinking some fancy thoughts. Let's leave the fancy thought cry. What should he do? He should probably castle like a normal person. Put his rook on c8. The other problem with castling long is his rook doesn't get to go to c8. Okay. And then you want to bust him open. Okay. Maybe you shouldn't have let your knight in there. Bishop c4, good move. Now knight d5. And we have, by all accounts, by every account, a very hot position here with knight b5. He trades everything. You trade everything off. I don't know. I don't know about trading. Now his rook is very active. And then that's insane. Mate. Oh, oh, man. Well, there it is. Now, you could tell me, you could say, well, I made the mistake because a blunder. But also, you got to recognize, like, you played all these moves that didn't develop. And then all of a sudden, that's his big dream in this position. So when you take, it's like, yeah, I guess you have this move, bishop c3, but you're real close. Yeah, it's real close to all falling apart here. Really close. Okay, so Dominic, I'm probably seeing you again soon. You're doing great. A time graph would help, but most importantly, in the next couple of games, just be like, they are going to give me time. I'm not going to give them any time. I'm going to trust Scry that good things will happen when that time is given to me. All right, let's go back. Grad show. Next up, we got VR. That's a name that's very hard for me to do anything with. So, new dad, poor guy. Poor guy here. So, he's playing a little chess on the side when he can. Is he in the moms and dads club? There he is. I'm in that club. Okay, so looks like he's maybe down under my games. Oh, let's go round robin. 300, 400. So that was a long time ago. Let's see if we have a game. Well, yeah, we want. So these are old, and I'm assuming he's been in the dojo for a while and just hasn't had time to do some recent games. McBall says, castling long was crazy. Yes, it was. Foos Chess says, I would contend that time management is a problem at all levels. Okay, let's talk about this briefly before we get into McBalls. The issue with the lower-rated players, I agree with you, time management is always a thing. But the issue with the time management with lower-rated players is what we generally see, we see this in every graduation show, is a radical tendency to not spend the time that you have on the clock and to make impulsive decisions without thinking. And the long-term view is that chess thinking is a muscle that needs to be developed. And you need to recognize, when I'm playing so fast, I don't have that muscle. It's like my body is like shut up, move, you jerk. So that's what I mean by saying those are the 3 skills to master to make 1,000. All right, here we go. Ms. McBalls. I've been kind of crushing in the last couple weeks, and now that I've reached the 800 milestone, I'm going to take a breather to reflect and consolidate. I don't want to end up stunting my long-term growth because of silly impatience. Also, Sensei, I created that Saudi Arabian dojo for you. Nice. Now, don't get me wrong. I have absolute zero hope for it. Why? It only takes a little logical mathematical thinking. The Arab world has 400 million people. Saudi Arabia has 20 million. The Arab World Dojo has 3 members, including me, a Saudi. And even if by the grace of God another Saudi joins the dojo, then the club, their Arab dojo, is so small that having an even more specialized dojo feels a bit redundant to me. But if it's only to make our unk happy, then it's worth it. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, McBalls. I do appreciate it very much. Now, we have clubs from, just think about it, small cities. And they got some peoples. And I'm going to go ahead and say, McBalls, you have a little bit, I understand your pessimism, but I'm also going to say that chess in Saudi Arabia is growing, and that if it grows, it would be cool if you knew the other people who were in the dojo with you. Now, even better would be if they were in the same city, right? That's a whole nother level. But I'm not going to force you yet. That's going to be later, McBalls, to do a club based on your city. All right, here we go. This is Soleil McBalls. So, as you can see, he joined the dojo and he's been crushing, graduating all the time. So that's why I'm very familiar with him. Got up to 816. Beautiful. All right. Now let's go take a look at those clubs. He's in the lifting heavy things club. Now that's the club, for example, you'd think like maybe there wouldn't be that many people, but that is the club where people are truly progressing. One member, Saudi Arabia. He's also part of this insurgent cardio enjoyers club that maybe could rename itself. Yeah. I have on my list to do is a video about chess and lifting heavy things, little sciencey. That's on my agenda. I thought I was going to do it last week, but I got sidetracked. I'm all in though. And this club has been the thing that's kind of inspired me to think more about it. Okay, so here we go. Loads of games here. And we got a recent one with McBowles. So here we have a time graph. And the first thing we want to say is that McBalls did great with the time management, and his opponent is more typical of what we're going to see at this level, that they aren't able to really slow down and think. Okay. So let's go, let's keep it at the time actually for a second. Strong player always say that openings don't matter at this level, and honestly, I get that more than ever now. Very true. All right, here we go. Good. Fine. Okay. Fine. It's fine. This one's a little weird. I don't know if I'm going to get mad at you about it, though, because you are developing. Good move by your opponent. Your opponent, by the way, has played very good chess. And now Stockfish says that Queen D7 is a mistake. I don't want you to think of it as a mistake, honestly, because it's the most natural move in the position. And unless there's something immediately, drastically wrong with it, I don't want you to worry about it. Now, here's an interesting thing. You say that white's now much better. I don't know. Because this pawn is dominating this knight. If I was going to worry in this position, I would be concerned about something like knight d5. That would be the move that would scare the bejesus out of me. Because if I take in any way, I'm going to be opening up all of this stuff. And maybe he's even threatening knight b4. So that's the one that would scare me. This one doesn't scare me. So you're doing fine. Good. Poor move. Losing time. Now notice, this is what I'm talking about. It's an impulsive decision. The guy didn't stop to think, oh, what is McBalls going to do when I play bishop e7? He didn't. And now he just developed your rook. Oh, I would say you're better in this position. Good move. All right, bishop e3. And now c5. He can't actually do it, which I guess you understood after. I guess I would want you to put rook a8 as the final note to your variation here, but okay. So here you did think about it, and what I want you to see with c5 is this is a phantom threat, so you're losing a tempo here. And also when you move the pawn on c6, you let the knight actually have a little something to talk to you on. And now he just hangs his stuff. Again, getting to 1,000 is all about taking their free stuff. They will give it to you. All right. B3. Thank you very much. Fine. I don't know. I like knight c3 better, but as long as you consolidate the position, of course, you're going to be winning. Okay, I like knight d5. It's fine. Good. Fine. Fine. That wasn't it. You're taking the free stuff. That's dirty. That's dirty. F6. All right, F6 is a little too fancy, right? You're still winning this thing, but it's a little too fancy. What's the safe move? Just play bishop F6. Now that's weird. Why couldn't we just play like queen here or something? That's a bad one. And now we got him. Oh, man. That wasn't it. And there's a beautiful mating pattern. So, well done. And you're playing stronger chess than your opponents. Let's start there. And let's think about you reaching 1,000 in the mirror of the mistakes your opponent made, right? Losing time in the development, hanging stuff, moving too quickly. All three elements that we need to get excellent at to make that 1,000 mark. Beloved bookkeeper, today is everybody. I think we don't have that many people. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So I think we're going to do everybody. I need to catch up with beloved bookkeeper. So, I got to see what's going on in her life too. What's going on in her chess? All right, here we go. Here's Fanny Ches. Fanny Ches is next. And Fanny Ches doesn't say anything about themselves. He likes chess and not logging too much. But back in the summer, he was logging more. We had, so we're doing these live classes. And in the live classes, we'll review kind of the training of a player. And we have this guy come in. He's in the 13, 1400 cohort. And he's been using this app called Toggle to map out all the time he's done with his chess study, what exactly it was. And he's been doing it for a while now. So he has an incredible amount of data. And it's very impressive. Very impressive. Anyways, why did I think of that just now? Because I was like, well, his heat map was also empty because he didn't want to double log it. So he's got this whole thing where it's really charted out and interesting. Dom Adams, yeah, we did you just a little while back. Go watch that either now or later and then rejoin us. So, all right, Fanny Ches, what are you doing over here? Chess dads and moms, all right, he likes chess. And we don't have any recent games, though. So we'll leave Fanny Ches there. Hopefully Fanny Ches can give us some games again soon. Next up, we got Knight 1689. Let's see he just joined. Boom. Going to give him a follow. Joined and did a lot of work. What happens when you do a lot of work in the dojo? Bam! You're going to go up a lot, baby. You're going to go up a lot. And up he did go. Very simple and strong. All right. Clubs. No clubs yet. Does he got some games? So he's got 0 games. So you can see now with our new improved thing, I can see whether he's got games or not. So welcome to the dojo, Knight. Happy to join you here in this adventure. Now we got Mange. What? All right, Chess Dexter. Hello. I don't know what Chess Ange is saying. I don't know. Mange says, nice to be graduating again. It's been a bumpy ride since the last graduation. I've played quite a few daily corresponding games, which I think have helped with thinking deeper. Now looking to strengthen primarily the middle game, as just avoiding blunders often isn't enough anymore. So here's the Mange. I had an English friend years ago, and he would talk about a mangy moggy. So I was like a cat. It was all nasty. the mange. That's the mangy muggy. We'd talk about, he was a chess player, so we'd study, and if your position was really bad, he'd be like, you're looking like a mangy muggy. That's what he would tell me. So the mange here is doing pretty good, and maybe had a little bit of a break, but he's definitely back at it. Rating going up pretty steadily. And what do we got here? We got some Stockholm. Now, look, if there's a Stockholm dojo, there's got to be a Saudi Arabia dojo. Come on now. We got some games from the dojo, from the mange. The Mange Man. Let's go take a look at the Mange Man. This is a dojo round robin game. My friends, if you wondering, how do I get these long games in? Even if you aren't part of the dojo, this round robin thing is amazing. You can not join the dojo and pay us $2 and play in these amazing tournaments. So, there's a 30 plus 30. Both players moving a little too fast, but not incredibly. Not incredibly here. All right, so let's get into it. Let's actually go to our famous game review, modus. All right, here we go. Fine. Fine. Good, you're doing fine. B3. The point of B3 is to develop his bishop. So, fine. Fine, you're doing just genius developing moves. A3. Is it a great move? I don't know. A5. This is an example of you doing a reactive move. He's not threatening B4. That's not such a big deal. Put your knights out. Bring your people out. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Good. So notice, it's not only that you hit his rook now and get the dark squares, but he developed your queen. Good move. I don't understand rook E1. And now you played E5. This is your big moment, by the way. So this is where you would want to spend some time to be like, can I knock him out? Is there some way I can knock this guy out? Yeah. So DC4 should be considered. E5. Snip. Snap. Knight E4. Fancy, but is it really going to help? Queen D8. Queen C2. That's no good. So you're going to just whack him with bishop G6, and he's going to wish he hadn't gone there. So knight G5 is an example of a chump attack, of something that didn't work out too well. All right, E4. I want to point out that knight D4 now is a good-looking move because you could follow it up with rook C8. Maybe a good move by white. See, now you do it. It's not nearly as juicy, as they say. Knight E5, okay. Boom. And you think white is significantly better? Now, maybe, their bishop is certainly better than your bishop. I don't know about that move. Is he trying to win the pawn? What's going to happen there? That looks poor. Thank you. Okay, well, he's threatening queen G6 now. And now, standard mistake. We see this mistake all the time. The queen is thinking it's being real fine and interesting and beautiful. And as you point out, you have queen C4. And I think my guess is from the timestamps, he thought a lot about it, thought he was a genius. And then you were like, oh, crud. What am I supposed to do now? Yeah. So, and because of that, what I mean is you weren't looking at the radical queen C4 at all. Obviously, if you see it, you see it, and then the game's over. But also, what's weird is if you don't see queen takes bishop, you should definitely play queen C6 to get the ladies off because she's in there. She's dangerous. Now, A little safer could have been queen h5, so you control this pawn and threaten the mate. And now he takes, which I'm not sure I get. Queen g7. It just looks like very powerful attack from white. Looks lost to me. So now he's just dancing around. You could definitely consider walking this way. Or as the song says, walk this way. So, could have done it that way. So now we got a little bit of grief again. And now that's called a light square problem. Yeah. And now we're going to get wasted. All of our coconuts are gone away. Yep. There was a mate in there earlier, but white finished up. Now, one of the things I want you to see about this man is what happened to you is a good example of what we call the opposite color bishop attack. So notice the idea is that if you have opposite color bishops, if he gets an attack on the light squares, you're toast because he's got an extra piece there. And you certainly came to feel that in this game, right? Certainly came to feel it. Okay, good. Let this continue. We'll mark this. We'll go grad show. Next up, we got emote maximum. What does the emote say? So first we're going to give him a follow. And not a lot of work yet. Maybe just joined the dojo. No, joined in the summer of last year. Does have a USCF. Seems like it's kind of holding steady there. I think they're in the wrong cohort. I think they put themselves in this cohort because that was their USCF rating, but it gets normalized to this. We're going to try to get our ratings redone. That's one of our tasks here at the dojo. By that, I mean the rating converter. So, emote maximum, you need to do some work, buddy. Let's get to it. Next up, we have P. Perez. I have unexpectedly graduated after not playing my best chess or sticking well to the program the last few months. It has been really busy after relocating to Malaga. Time out. We need a Malaga dojo. Did you see that? We have the other guy up there, Dominic. He's in Malaga. He doesn't even know that P. Perez is there. So this is what I'm saying, McBalls. You might think there's nobody in Saudi Arabia who's in the dojo. you might be wrong about that. There might be some people. All right. Sometimes chess just has to take the back seat. In this cohort, I have learned that I need to be more patient when it comes to reaching the next level in order to get the most from the dojo. I feel that I can focus too much on a part of the training plan, such as finishing a book, while not paying enough attention to tactics training or analyzing my games. In the new cohort, I hope I will be able to organize my chess time better, getting the most of each task. It is also a pity that it's so difficult, almost impossible, to find opponents on Chess.com wishing to play it longer than 30 minutes. Dojo round robin, right there. I know I need to play longer time controls to make more progress, but the issue here is that it seems this is only possible on lead chess. I have recently switched to playing d4 with white, which has some commonalities with my response to e4 with black, like similar positions and pawn structures. My games with white become more positional after doing this, and I think this has helped me reach the graduation threshold. I am still loving the dojo and want to see if I'm able to progress further. Beautiful. So a couple things. You can play in Malaga. They got the games over there, man. In fact, I'm gonna go look at Malaga just for a second. Let's just go look at Malaga. What a beautiful place. Let's open it up in Google Maps. Oh man, you guys are living in paradise over here. Oh man, I bet it's always warm there. I bet it's just nice, dude. I bet it's just nice in Malaga. I'm just taking a little detour into the streets of Malaga. There's a lot going on. All right. So, next up, now that we got the McBalls question, because he's like, they'll never find me in Saudi Arabia. Let's just go look. So, yeah, Malaga's got like almost 600,000 people. So, it's got a little bit less than Saudi Arabia, McBalls. A little bit less, buddy. Yeah. Okay. So, let's go take a look at P. Perez. It's kind of the size of where I am in Baltimore. There's P. Perez. Okay. Great. His goal is to become a decent player. He's definitely putting in the work. And 1100, beautiful. Look at this tactics. He's doing good. All right, clubs. We got the Spanish. Maybe there'll be a Malaga Dojo soon. There might be one soon. All right, here's P. Perez here. And here's a time graph. And beautiful thing, we have P. Perez using his time and his opponent not using his time. Now, I do want to say, if you're playing, whether it's Chess.com or Elite Chess, if it's not a dojo round robin, you're probably going to get some chump like this who's not able to think. The next thing I really want to stress is those tournaments there. You can see that on my dashboard up there, whether you're in the dojo or not. That's amazing for finding tournaments. Third thing, you're at a cohort now, right? Because you're way up here at 1,000. That really 30 minutes is too fast. And dojo says at this stage in your career, you need to be moving slower. All right, but here we go. We're going to look at your game. So we'll mark it. We're going to keep the time usage up. Fine. 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 You're developing. It can't be bad. Okay. Poor move. Doesn't develop. Poor move. Doesn't develop. So H3 makes sense. Castling either side makes more sense. Okay. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. It's getting too weird for me. Queen E8 might be a clever move. Rook C8. I thought the point of Queen E8, by the way, was to pop you with E5, and I do think it might be a little. I don't know. It's going to be complicated, this popping. All right, Rook C8 makes no sense. Loss of time. Thank you. That should have been played a million miles ago. A4. Okay. Back to our friend D3. And now he plays A5. Now I got a question for you. Could he have wasted you with ye old E5? That's what it looks like to me. He pops you once, and then he pops you twice, and then you shake hands, and you go home. Right? All right, so big miss by black here. And why? Why? Because he only took 18 seconds on the move, buddy. All right. D5. Interesting move. Okay. All right, I kind of like this. It's hard for him to deal with it. C5. And you say you should have captured. Let's give your move a try, though. What's actually wrong with your move? You have C4 covered. They told me in school that I should never fianchetto the knight, so I don't believe in the fianchetto knight there. And here you go back. You don't have to. A nice move, or at least a very ambitious move, would be A5, trying to really start the show. Now black should definitely play knight A5, but they play knight H5 instead. And you go away. Now I just want to stress, I don't know exactly what's going on, but the move A5 really appeals to me. It's just like, run, baby, run. Now, does it work? I don't know. But also, you're hanging this thing. So we need to do something pronto. Another move, very simple and strong, would be knight C4. That'd be the no-risk alternative. I don't like losing that pawn. Good. Good. Get out of here, knight. And now you play knight C4, which is where it wants to go now, but now the bishop can go to B5, which is unpleasant for a peasant, as they say. All right, knight C4. Bishop B5. I'm just going to look here. So you played A7 in 26 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Queen d7, double question mark, and yes, got him. Whack. Good move. Good, you're alive in 85. Notice the knight is a chump here. He figures it out. Good for him. Rook a6. That doesn't make much sense to me. You say preventing ideas with knight c6, but the knight is already prevented. So I don't get it. I think the question would be, what about knight d2, knight c4? You know? Okay, good move. I like that. Oh, and that looks like a blunder, but I honestly don't know what to do. Your bishop c6 is going to be amazing. Good move. Good move. Simple chess. Good, you're playing great here. That's beautiful. Thank you very much for all of your coconuts. Pete Perez, that was a good finish. That was a good finish. So when we think about this game, I thought you put it together pretty well. The only phase of the game where I want you to see that it all kind of went awry, okay, is you started this queen thing. You went queen e2, queen d3, queen c3. I don't know what the queen was doing. That was the only part of the game where I was like, oh, we're not dealing with a very strong player yet. But the other parts of the game, you know, you looked very decent. Okay, so that was Pete Perez. And, we're here. We're here for the best part. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to do Dr. Pop Pop. This guy's amazing, so we'll come back in just a second.
Welcome.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he's got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that ain't hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training hours a day, playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dusting with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating. Each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation. The work is entertaining. The growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I give up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
All right, my friends, we are back. Glory times for Dr. Pop Pop. Now, let's read first what he says, and then I'll tell my side of the story. My training has been very focused the last 4 months. Dojo training plan, the playing and analyses of games with fellow cohort members, the encouragement and game feedback from Cry, and my own extra chess training are helping me become a decent chess player. I'm an older adult improver. Even though I'm still working, I have made time for training a priority. For the past 4 months, I've been training 90 minutes in the morning before work and 3 to 4 hours in the evening after dinner, and an episode or two of CIS New Orleans. I have also added the gym 3 times a week to my training. All of this has led to my improvement in greater health, which can only be good for my chess game. Yeah. So, we're doing these live classes now, and you know, it's called the Game and Profile Review. So we start off by looking at a player's profile, and then we go and look at a game that they played. And they have then, before that even happens, they have looked at that game with their peer group. And a lot of the inspiration behind that was this group that Dr. Pop Pop was in, and I was leading it, but it wasn't like a big, dojo-wide thing. And it was such a cool group that I was like, oh, I need to institutionalize this, So one big bummer for Dr. Pop Pop is the other people in the group are progressing, but not as fast as Dr. Pop Pop. So Dr. Pop Pop really now needs to be graduated to the next level up. Will he do so? We're going to have a talk with him. In any case, let's go look at Dr. Pop Pop's profile. Okay, so as you can see, the man is going up dramatically. And check this out. Ba-bam. That is a man who is doing a lot of work, and he's got a goal of, 21 hours a week. That's more than I'm able to do. I'm happy if I get 15. So the man is really pushing it. And one of the things that's really cool about these group classes is just being in it, seeing the work of other people, encourages players not only to train, but to be like, oh, I see the things that they're doing right, and I bet I could do those things too. And honestly, Dr. Pop Pop's a big inspiration for that group. This is all in my head anyway, like beginning from November on, where he's very active. It's kind of when we've been doing the group classes. And so, yeah, the guy's crushing it. At some point, it's going to be harder for Dr. Pop Pop. But notice that at least when you look at his lead chess graph, that he was kind of stagnant until, I guess we could say, until he started getting super serious after doing those group classes. So I'm not just saying the group classes were the only thing, right? But with that group, he was like, let's move it on up. And all of a sudden, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. It just went way up, which for an older dude, it's not how it generally is. Generally for us older dudes, if we make progress, it's going to be this kind of slower staircase thing, not this like dramatic increase. Yeah. Yeah, he's playing a lot of classical games. He's playing in tournaments. The other thing that's really cool is like these guys have started to meet outside of their group, of their class, hanging out with each other. Really amazing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a game that he played with somebody in the group. And that's this guy, Andy, from Germany. So, Dr. Pop is black. Here's the time graph. Now, my good friends, I want you to see that these players, they got it down. They got it down. And one of the things they're so pumped on, moving slow, the philosophy of moving slow, that they like have a sloth and they hold it and they keep it by on their desk so they move slow. And because of that, we're working on changing the icon of the turtle. We're trying to change that to a sloth. It's got to be a sloth that we instantly recognize as a sloth. Okay. Well, also, the Ludworks, he actually works in Munich at BMW, or BMW, as they say. Okay, so here we go. Let's start it off. Let's go to the game review, but let's just pause for a second. Look at that time graph. Amazing, right? All right, here we go. The game review. These people in general are not, they followed my philosophy. They don't know anything about openings, but they do know about principled opening development, right? So both sides playing fine here. Fine, fine, fine. And maybe a little weird, but I get it. He's developing. Also fine, developing. Notice, both players, they're not messing around with their development. They will develop. Good. Now, this is the first move that strikes me as a little weird. What I want to stress before we talk about why that's weird is what's so admirable and interesting to me is you've got players who are lower rated than these players who have spent a gazillion hours doing opening work. But here we have these two people, and they've basically played GM level game up to this point just by moving the pieces and being consistent about opening principles. Right? Oftentimes at this point is when we see in their games where often maybe we get a little slippage because they're like, oh, well, what do I do now, cry, after I have all my pieces developed, right? So rook a e8 is very quick. Rook f e8, as noted by Sweatgland. I don't know Sweatgland. You can make comments in these games. Rook f e8 does make more sense to me. Okay, so here we go. In general, you got an isolated pawn. You want this rook to come here. Be looking. Long-term looking. McBalls is calling it egoistic development. I like that phrase a lot. I don't know quite what it means. But I like the phrase of egoistic development. If it's egoistic, it's like maybe he's dreaming someday of, I don't know, launching this pawn. I don't know. Okay, so knight e5, not a great move, and mostly because it's not a developing move. It's not a great move because this knight ultimately is very strong and wants to be contested. Good. Rook c1. c6, I think that's a good move. Bishop takes, knight takes. And now knight back to c3. Knight d6 would have been interesting. And now he just calmly steals a pawn. He says, thank you very much. Good move. Now all of a sudden, Dr. Pop is up a pawn. That can't be bad. That's a little weird. It's hard to suggest something concrete for white. Maybe queen f4? I don't know, hanging the pawn on b2, it's not easy. All right, a6, passive. Good move. Good move. I just want to stress, one of the things that's so cool about that group and Dr. Pop's play here is it's all just fundamentals. He's using his time, he's developing, he's finding the tactics. Thank you very much, he says. b5. b5 is a little weird. I would have preferred maybe knight b6. we're going for the cheap shot. And now Sweatglad says knight f6. For my eyes, I just want to make it simple. Just give me the simple with queen g6. Go ahead. Dang, look at that. He don't play. Dang. So Dr. Pop-Pop's chess, as you can see, it's going up. So amazing. Let's go back just a second here for Dr. Pop-Pop. Let's go to his ratings. So the man started obviously at a much lower cohort, and he's just, you could see it on his chart there. He's graduated just in the last couple months. He's graduated 5 times. 5 times, bro. 5 times. He's just killing. So it's amazing. It's amazing. And hopefully inspirational to the people in the group, though I think he needs to now leave the group. There's a higher group. He's in what's called the Morphe group, and the next group is called the Steinitz group. And I think he really needs to go on to the Steinitz group. But I don't know. It's a social problem. They're such good friends over there. Okay, well done, Dr. Pop-Pop. Next up, we got Jarko's back. Oh, look at that. Beloved bookkeeper is here today. She's been avoiding me recently, but she comes back for her own graduation. There we go. All right, here we go with Jarko's. Oh, that's amazing, beloved bookkeeper. That's a hard graduation, too. So Jarko here, crushing it pretty well. Very good training recently. He's in the under 1200 endgame club. So this is a club that I did. I created for an endgame class. I did the first month, so January in the dojo. And now the endgame class has been called Endgame Fundamentals, taught by Tatev Ambrahamian. I am big player, many-time player in the U.S. Women's Championship. So that's a cool thing. So that's where I know him from. And you can see since January, since he joined that, it was called the lecture tier. So previously I was talking about the game and profile review, but in addition to that, we have all these lectures that you can do if you're part of the game and profile review. And then in the lectures, if you just want to do the lectures, next month, as an example, I'm going to be looking at Logical Chess Move by Chernev. We're going to kind of plot our way through that book. I think it'll be fun. Kostya's doing an opening course and a calculation course. GM Josh Friedel is doing, I think, his middle game planning course. And Tatev, of course, is doing her endgame course. All right, here we go. Here we got the games. And this is Sword of Steve playing Devil Dog. Let's see how this goes here. First off, we want to say a little fast from both sides, but not terrible. And let's hit game review. All right. Fun. Good. I've always felt like black should be developing. I know that some books want you to do this as black. Good. Good move. Yeah, poor move, not developing. All right, so you played a natural move, bishop g5. I'm not going to argue with that. Good. Knight f6. And now you really give it to him here, bishop g3. I think he's in big trouble now. And now look at this thing. Bang. Oh, that's a nice move. g5. And now another we're going to call this a thematic move, knight d5. A lot of times even, here it obviously works because he can't win the piece. But even a lot of times if they can win the piece, we still want to do this move. Because opening up the position like this, actually just imagine even if the king were castled somehow, this would still be a good move because snip, snap, and we're going to win the piece back. So, g4, a little funky. And now knight e1. Okay. I'm just looking. Okay, question mark. Knight e1, of course you're still winning, but could we have gone here, 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 and now we're totally crushing him, right? So that would have been cleaner. But, it's hard to argue with your position here. Good, simple and good chess. Oh, dang, bruv, take it easy. Dang. Beautiful. This is what we call a knockout. And they might want to resign. Boom. Well done, Sort of Steve. Classic, Smith-Morra Gambit, and also classic was the sense in which your opponent didn't feel the need to develop their pieces. Okay, cool. Let's continue. And next up, we got Lewis. What does Lewis got to say? Lewis probably just joined us here. Going up the ladder, though. No clubs, no games. So, Lewis, welcome to the dojo. I hope we'll get to see you over here. One nice thing, actually, about the third group, which is the Lasker group, is we got all the players are 1400 level. So it's a really cool competitive group. All right, next up we got Brian Estrada. Brian Estrada is not telling us much. One thing I've observed about the graduate show is, I've been doing this for years. And it used to be that we had more graduates who didn't have any games. And now I'm realizing, it's actually more the exception that somebody doesn't have any games. It's usually more common, much more common now that someone has a game or two to look at, which is one of the pillars of the dojo. So just joined recently, though. Let's see. No clubs, no games yet. So Brian, welcome to the dojo. And now we got a famous dude. This guy is in the game and review classes. Cry in the dojo, laugh on the battlefield. Beautiful. So, 1405. Look at this. Amazing. Amazing. And if I'm right, he is in the Lasker group, but is actually now the first of that group to graduate out of 1400. So very impressive. And as you can see, the man is just working all the time. And what are we talking about? He set himself a weekly goal of 11 hours and is basically hitting it most times. So very cool and impressive. Clubs. He's out of Louisville. Okay. And now we got some My Games. This is fairly recent. Let's take a look. Now, one thing I don't know is it's quite conceivable that Kostya's already looked at this game with him in that group. So, all right. Boom. And this is typical dojo, except it's untypical. We're the ones with the crime. So right away, we have discovered this poor man's crime. This man is a crime. Now, we'll just say more by, if you can fix this problem, well, it's worth a lot. It is worth a lot. All right. So let's go game and review. Now, by the way, when I do these grad shows, obviously I don't have that much time to really go into the game. It's obviously not a conversation. And so, I'm just kind of quickly going through it, hopefully saying something constructive. In these classes, we're able to kind of go deeper, and then there's questions not only from the person whose game it was, but then from the peers themselves. All right, fine. Okay, there's many different ways of playing against this. We're going to call that poor because it's not a developing move. All right, so white's a touch better. This is not, I don't like that move because it's not a developing move. So what's the natural thing to play? Knight c3 or bishop e3, whatever you like. Good, good, good. b5. b5's fine. I wonder also about bishop g4. I don't understand that move. And now you play bishop b7. First question we should ask is, could you have just won the pawn immediately with b4, knight moves, and knight takes pawn? That's definitely a question. So I want you to see here, Morbai, that you played this in 12 seconds, bruv. And then you thought more about it in the notes than you did during the game. Much longer in the notes than during the game. Yes, Gevix, he is in your class. All right, bishop g5. And now he does this knight e4 move, which is pretty frisky. Okay. And now bishop e7. So you talk about bishop b8. Okay. On bishop b8, you would want to talk about bishop takes f6. So because we didn't develop, we got ourselves into this problem. A move that I don't like it, actually. I was trying to think of a way out for you here. All right, the first thing I want to do is see how bad this bishop e7 is. Because honestly, bishop b8, bishop takes f6, you're in pain. Is it? Well, actually, give it a second. Bishop f6 is not so impressive. I'm going to stand corrected on that one because bishop takes, knight c5, you have bishop d5. Queen d3 could really talk to me, though, couldn't it? Maybe queen d3, c4. Okay, so bishop b8, it's the ugliest thing we've ever seen. White is definitely much better. Now, is it going to be worse than this, though? Let's see. So now, bishop e4, and he calmly plays bishop e4. Oh, man. Now, you say bishop d6 at least gets rid of the passed pawn, but here's my question. I see, but we're just toast here because bishop a8. Oh, no. So actually, d6 is totally winning. Jesse. Jesse, that thing's totally winning, bruv. So, yeah, it says bishop e7. White's a little bit better. It looks to me like white's totally crushing you here. Boom. Now we're lost here. All right, rook e1. Fine. I mean, we're down a lot of coconuts. Let's just put it that way. Now, I want to stress, I know I've already said it, but it is about you spending more time. That is what this is all about. It is about really nothing less. He's got more stuff. He's got more stuff. So, notice that in his takeaways, he's not talking at all about the time that he didn't use. So this would be, one of the key things when we take a look at the game and profile review. We really go into it. Of like, bro, this is a big one. In a lot of ways, the moves don't mean anything compared to the value of using your time. Right? Okay, let's continue. We got, oh, dude, Winesburg, Ohio. We got some people from the past here with Winesburg and Beloved Bookkeeper. I haven't seen Winesburg, Ohio in a very long time. Let's go see what's up with Winesburg, Ohio. Now, Winesburg, I feel like he used to say something in his bio. Now he doesn't say anything. And he's up there with the chess.com. Okay. Clubs. All right. Games. He's got one, but it's from forever ago. See? So, he's been with the dojo since 23. He graduated a bunch of times way back in the day. And now he made it, and he came back, but he hasn't really been active on the site. Okay, well, Winesburg, welcome back. And now, my friends,
the person you've all been waiting for, beloved bookkeeper from Baltimore, Maryland. Though really, she's from the deep south and has a deep accent from the way, way deep south.
And here she says, I have been catching up on books I had from previous cohorts, such as The Most Instructive Games and Capablanca's Best Endings. I finished both of them within the last 2 months and thoroughly enjoyed them. Sharon F. is an entertaining writer, and the games were inspiring. I'm laughing because she's laughing. We're getting it in the chat here. I have also been attending a weekly training session with some chess friends who are much stronger than me, which has helped open my eyes to different ideas. Overall, I am pleasantly surprised to see me hit 1850 rapid and hope that this translates eventually to my classical rating. Cool. A couple notes. First, beloved, if you could tell us what your group is that the Baltimore Ladies Night? Is that what you're talking about? That seems like a cool group. I saw some pictures on social media. And I also want to give a shout out that next month on this lecture tier, I'm going to be doing the Most Instructive Games Ever. I think it's a great first book of strategy, you could say. And I haven't read it since I was a kid, so we're just going to kind of read it together. Oh, okay, that's great, beloved bookkeeper. All right. So, actually, let me just say, if you just not watching this live or whatever, so she has a group of people she's working with, and kind of like this game and profile review group, if you can get a couple people that are right around your level and everyone has at least a little bit of ambition, things are going to happen. Things will happen. All right, let's get into it. Beloved bookkeeper, join the dojo. Actually, it just says 1.0. It doesn't even say when. It was a while back. I remember that. So, but the thing I was recalling was this Be More Queenside that is mentioned here in her profile. End of 2022. Right. So it was like right as we were starting the dojo, she was in there. You can also find her on YouTube. She's got a cool YouTube channel, BBK Chess, I think it is. I don't know if she's done vids recently, but she's done some great vids. Yeah, she says 2 weeks after we launched. Yeah, beautiful. All right, so this is amazing, 1611. I know, let's see. The USCF, she struggled more with that. And so hopefully we're going to get a jump when she goes back to the OTB. You can see she's playing. You can just see by the nature of the graph that she is playing a lot. And it's a very good and steady improvement. And, anytime you start getting up to these higher cohorts, it's going to be a hard graduation. It's going to take a while. Now, I'm going to guess that she is logging her stuff less or sporadically. We're going to call it sporadic logging of the things she's doing. Let's look at all these clubs here. Now, we could ask, if we're going to ask McBalls to give us a Saudi Arabia one, maybe she can give us a Be More Queenside one. That would be very specific. That would be very, especially because Baltimore only has 13, but Oh, we have the Dojo Queens. Okay. I think there's more than one women's club. I have to look into that. All right. Be More. Beloved bookkeeper from Be More. Do you have a game? I guess I was going to ask you, but it's clear we're looking at this game from 220 from Divakar Rasing. So, drive to DC Chess League. Good. I think that's great. Even if it is a terrible drive going to DC. It is one of the most terrible things that you could imagine. Now notice as we're going higher in the cohorts, we're seeing longer time controls. That's great. And maybe we'll leave the time up here for a second because it seems like White began with the best intentions of using their time, but then lost it. Also, beloved bookkeeper, we'll keep an eye basically on move 23, what happens around here. Okay, so here we go. McFall says someone's going to have a dojo group about their house. That might be. All right, here we go. Knight c6, a little weird. A little weird. But it can't be that wrong. Knight f3, d5. Now, I always say, if you're going to play d5, then playing it last move made more sense to me. He thinks forever here and plays e d5. I think e5 is the move that scares me. Yeah. Okay. So, boom, boom. Now I think you're fine. Fine. Okay. And now we've actually transposed into, there's a variety of openings this could have come from. If you play bishop b, I mean, the main thing is the Caro. This could have transposed from a Caro with that Botvinnik attack. Pan of Botvinnik. Okay. Fine. You could have also played bishop b4. Fine. And white is losing some time here. And now you play rook e8 with a big think. One thing I do remember about Sam is that she does tend towards time pressure. And this would be maybe a moment to say, look, this is an intuitive decision. I realize we could think about this forever, but no lo puedo, right? Okay, so rook e8 is also a little weird because it's not really clear that we need to be there. And so I think the thing to focus on in this position is just to be like, well, what is it about? You know, white's got this isolated queen pawn. They've lost a little time in the opening. And what we want to do with the isolated queen pawn is definitely control this square. And this is also a nice square to control. And of course, ultimately, putting our babies on the line here on the d file is what we'd like to do. So at least the first move that comes to mind for me for black is knight a5. To tell white, well, what do you want to do about my beautiful point in the middle of the board? All right, rook e8, knight e4. In general, not where the knight wants to be because the knight wants to pressure d5. Bishop g4, okay. And then this looks like a big mistake here. So, good. Good. And now knight b6. Okay. Let's mention that bishop f8 looks good. Right? We have to move the bishop anyway, and we want to hit the knight. If you want to be super fancy, you could play bishop b4. Okay, so this way we're going to lose some time. Bishop f4. Queen f5. Exclam. Very nice. Simple and strong. Beautiful. Boom, boom. And now knight d5. Great. Simple. And now we have a winning endgame for sure. Many moves here. Rook e7 looks very strong. Rook a8 is fine. Rook e1. F6, very good move. Good move. A5, reasonable. It seems like with the arrow you're trying to say that you're stopping a4. Now, here's the moment. This is why I left the time on, the time graph on. What I want you guys to see is that a problem in the dojo that we've seen for years is that both players, now that we've reached the end game, are a little exhausted, but more importantly, they don't know how to think about the end game, and so they're just going to play very quick moves instead of thinking. So there's a lot to think about in this position for both sides. How is black going to make progress? Well, white has to be thinking about all the different ways for black to make progress and try to stop them. It's not so easy. And a5, I don't know. It's not a bad move, but I don't know exactly what it's on about. Now, she is going to be thinking on a couple of these moves, and his opponent does think a little bit, but you can see from the graph that in general, they've kind of stopped. All right, rook e4. Fine. I would say you're winning this position. Okay, here we go. B6. Good move. Now notice what white's doing. You could have also played C5 there. White's not doing anything. Not doing anything. They're just kind of moving around. They're just moving around. They're just like, well, I'm going to threaten some stuff. Right? I'm just going to threaten some stuff. And now you say rook e2 is a question mark. Okay. I have some questions about the question mark, but we're going to get into it. Now, the question is, if bishop takes f4 is somehow drawing for white, then we blew it. If not, then we're okay. So it looks like maybe not. This analysis here, by the way, is really good. So notice that white, it looks like white didn't even think at all on this move. So nota bene. This is a great example. If he had just paused to be like, bruv, can we calculate this pawn endgame? Now, by the way, it's not clear to me what the eval is on this pawn endgame just by looking at it. No way. I have to spend some time to think about it. It's not immediately obvious. It is simply not. All right, so here we go. Pop. Excuse me, let's go to the variation. Pop, pop, pop. All right, so now she looks at c5, or king e6, king f4, good. And now, it is hot beyond hot, my friends. All right, my first question in this position would be b5. And you look at h5, which makes a lot of sense. But the reason, it's really spicy too, because look, if we play b5, we have to worry about b4, jamming our pawn down. If we play c5, we have to worry about a4. Dude, we could lose this. We could go down. Oh, no. So let's look at h5 then. h5, king e3, c5, and now definitely the main question is, what about a4? What happened? All right, let's just talk about it. The dream for black would be to create an outside pass on that side, the queen side of the board, make white run all the way over there. We grab all of white's pawns. However, just on the nature of this business so far, it's looking like it's not too easy to get there. Now, I do have a question mark here. Let's say we go b5 now. This might be more accurate. The point would be, if b4, then we go snip, snop, and then we go pop. And then they go rop, we go job. And now they cannot take this guy because we're running. And so because they can't take that guy, they got to go this way. And then we're going to go take his pawn. And even then it's complicated, but you know what? Are we the ones running the show? Oh, it's still complicated. Still complicated. All right, go back though, because that wasn't the main question. b5, king takes, and now, if I play king e6, there's still the question of b4. So I want to ask this question. Well, that's the thing that would scare us, right? King f5 coming in here. Well, then we push here. This is probably unwise for white, though. We're going to be faster, my friends. Yeah. Whoo! So I think remember, it took me a while. This guy, white, thought it was easy. I thought it was kind of complicated. I think b5 is the key move here, because our king does not know which side to go yet. And we cannot allow a situation where they play b5 and then b4. I could spend more time on this. It could go a while. All right, here we go. King f3. Welcome to the dojo. Nice move, fg5. Notice she thought on that. Why? We want that outside passer. On that move, we could also just ponder the simple knight c5 and then win that pawn. Good. She likes that move. Good move. And now notice how simple it is for us to stop this one. And this is just the lurker. He's just lurking. There we go. Goodbye. Oh, that was great. Oh, man. Yeah. And so getting the end game right. Oh, yeah. We need to. So the main thing, actually, that I would say for Sam is slowing down in the end game, calculating more in the end game. And I know it's weird because you're playing this person and it's probably a little Indian kid and they're playing super fast, right? They're, clearly, if I was teaching the kid, I'd be like, bruv, if you could have slowed down and thought about bishop f4 versus king f3. All right, congratulations. That is a great graduation, Sam. Hopefully we're going to see you in some tournaments. I think I'm going to play that April tournament that they have, or at least I'm going to try to. And definitely Maryland Open in May. Sometimes I know I see you there. All right, here we got Size Hawk. I don't think I know Size Hawk. It probably means something, and I don't know. But he's in LA. He's been with us for a while. Started logging stuff more in October. Beautiful to have some strong players with us here. Clubs. SoCal Dojo. Look at that. We got 38 members. McBalls. See that? Just SoCal. It's a lot of people. And we got a recent game for sure. Let's look. Wait, I want to look at one thing actually before we do this. So a very important thing to realize is that when you are at this level of ChessCom, you really are at a stage where you need to be playing OTB, because there's a couple traps that you can fall into, that you are falling into once you start identifying your chess progress with an OTB. And I did a whole video on this. It's called The Trap of Being 2100, something like that. The 2100 trap. The biggest thing is you're playing a bunch of cheaters there all the time. All right, playing in the dojo club, the tournaments will obviously help. But I just want to stress, like the big thing, I'm guessing, just, I don't know your profile that well yet, but just on the surface is moving away from online play to go to actual games is going to be the key thing for your chess improvement. I'm sure it will be hard because you're used to playing online. Okay, so here we go. This is a 130 plus 30. And Size Hawk is playing a very much higher rated opponent. And look at that, moving too fast. So, all right, let's leave the time graph open. Good move so far. Standard stuff. Let's just give a shout out here for bishop g4. It's a typical idea in this position, fighting for that d4 square. But what you did is fine. And now you have a simple endgame. I like your position. Poor move. Okay, so why are you castling? Your king is going to need to develop again. You're undeveloping the king, and then he's going to have to come back. You got loads of different nice moves here. Bishop g5 looks nice because the knight doesn't belong here. You could play f6. You could play knight d7. You could think about knight a6. All of these moves look reasonable. But castling ain't it. The king doesn't want to castle. White is going into a little turtle shell. Good. They are bringing their king out. Reasonable. I like what White did with their king. That was pretty good. So, despite all that, you still have a nice position. Now, this f6, though, it does scare me. And then this move scares me because you're inviting the knight to e5. Uh-oh. And he should have thought about knight e5. Yeah. I don't know about that move. Now you just surrendered this key square to your knight. That was the whole point of g4. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I don't know. This is no good for him. Free pawn, sure. Good. Good. Mean. All right, so now it should be over. And the only question is why it took so long. One basic thing here, yeah, with the extra pawn, the should be basic. Now, what is our problem? You're worried about king f7, knight d8. Okay, so we do have to deal with that. Good. Knight c1. Now, I just want to stress, we can talk forever about this move, but what's critical here when we look at your clock graph is that you had stopped thinking at this point, you know. Yeah. And in addition to knight b4, which looks fine, you have king f7. King f7, excuse me, it's no bueno. You have knight b4 followed by king f7. Simple chess. All right, boom, boom. And now it's a little complicated. a6. Now, this is a little hairy, but is that winning for us? My gut is that this is winning for us. However, it's obviously going to be hot. I don't think white should be doing this because now what happens? Unless he gets that a-pawn, you know, it's so much easier for the king to hold this pawn than it is for this guy to be contained, or this guy. So if he could have avoided that, that would have been a good thing. Now this should be pretty basic. Easy chess. All right, now this is the kind of mistake that I do too. But let me just state the obvious. The thing that we need to take away from this is you're moving too fast. d5, exclam. Oof, that's a real bummer. Yeah, and nothing to do now. Ah, that was evil. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. I don't know. I would like to know what the context of this game is, honestly. Maybe it tells me over here. Rated classical game on Lee Chess. So this is the Winter Open. Okay. Great. So beautiful that you're getting the long games in. And I think, you know, as I said, one of the traps that I talked about in that video is that because you're used to online play, your mind is too distracted to really do deep thinking. And when you distracted, you know, you're going to not play good moves and move too fast. All right, I think we got one more person, and that's Bernard Onth. It's Bernard Onth. Happy to graduate once again, second time in 7 months of dojo. Amazing. On this cohort, I really liked reading Techniques of Positional Play by Bronsnik. It opens up so many ideas during games. Great. I like that book too. Race to GM, thank you for subscribing. Here's Bernard Onth. And look at that. He's got not only an active heat map, but kind of beautiful with all those colors. Really good progression, and he has the same problem. It's the trap of the 2100 player on ChessCon. Yeah. Also doesn't have an OTB rating. Clubs. He's the Down Under Dojo. And we don't, let's see if we got any games over here. We got a game. So this is going to be an online game. After graduating yesterday, I decided to follow Jesse's recommendation of playing a longer time control game. It was good to have as much time as I wanted, but my opponent and myself ended up with more than 80 minutes on the clock. Let's look, my friends. Oh, 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 oh. Well, we've all been here before, haven't we, in Dojo Land? So the trap is, my friend, you're playing online and you're now at a high level, but both of you are distracted, and that's why you're playing so fast. That's a long time control. That's not even 130 plus 30. That's 130 plus 60. All right. I'm going to spend more time looking at this than they did playing it. So in general, this is a terrible system for white, but you see it a lot at the lower levels. And the inspiration for them really is like, well, I always put my bishop on c4, but then they lost the key tempo with e6, d5. Thank you, Dom. I'm about to head off here too. All right, queen e2, queen c7. Things are getting a little spicy. Knight e5. And now castles. Notice that white is refusing to develop their pieces. Now you talk about bishop c6 and rook e8. That's not going to do it. And you talk about queen e7. Yeah. Queen e7 is really important, if nothing else, just to trade off the queens before he gets mated. Bishop g4, and computer likes bishop d6. I think I'm into this, though, because he can never play queen e7 due to rook a e8. Okay, good. Oh, that's an evil move. I believe in that move. Before we even do any calculation, I believe in it because white's pieces are crud over there. Ah, there we go. And now you get too fancy with knight h5. You're still winning, though, pretty good here, huh? Check to the miserable king. He doesn't like knight h3. It looks to me like you're still comfortably winning this thing. Small advantage? No, this is a completely winning position. Uh-oh, but that doesn't look good. Now it's getting weird. I don't know. Now I've lost a sense of what's happening. Is it because the day is long? And we miss bishop c2. Oh, okay, Bernard, I can tell you've got some strengths, okay? But all of the problems here, all of them are related to moving too fast. All of them. And let's just take a couple things here. So your opponent comes up with this. He's undeveloped, very spicy position. You did spend almost 5 minutes here. Good. His opponent, I don't know, this is a very tricky move. I don't believe in 95. I think he should probably try to develop. Not only that, but it gets in the way of the business. So too fast. And then that's just a terrible move. The main problem is he's not respecting development. And here, bishop g4, way too fast, buddy. Way too fast. What we should say about bishop g4 too, when you think about it, is like, well, f3 is kind of something he wants to do anyway, because the knight wants these squares, right? So in addition to bishop d6, by the way, like that looks like kind of a hell of a drug, at least to think about. All right, my friends, I am out of here. I am done. I am done. Who am I going to raid? I don't know yet, but I'm going to raid somebody. Whew. Race the GM watching the video. Thank you so much. All right, raid. I think we're going to raid a friend of the dojo, Lafong Hua. Boom. Say hello to Lafong for me. It wasn't a long day, but we had a lot of graduations. We had some famous people coming back to the dojo. Sam, of course. And then just Dr. Pop-Pop crushing every graduation. It's stunning. All right, everybody. I'm going to raid, and I'm out of here. Say hello to Lafong for me.